4,000 views, huh? Where have y'all been? You guys have absolutely blown up the last video I made, so it would appear that I have to drop to my knees and open my mouth to pleasure Game Freak once more. Just kidding, I'm still gonna bash this franchise. Nothing's gonna change. But what should I bash next? Pokemon Sword and Shield, of course!
Game Freak lazy.
Well, that was easy. Now my whole afternoon is free. But I want to keep bashing Pokemon. I think I have an idea.
With the DS era of Nintendo slowly coming to an end, it was time for the boys to come up with a brand new handheld console to sell to the world. Perfect. And with that, the Nintendo 3DS was born, launching in the States on March 27th, 2011, with 16 games to be purchased and played right out the gate, and... ew. Yeah, the 3DS launch was a big pile of trash, but once the initial shock wore off, gamers had a couple of titles that they could look forward to. A new 3D Mario, a new Mario Kart, a new 2D Mario, and a new 3D Pokemon game. That's right. Pokemon Rumble Blast, baby! Look at the Pokemon! Look at them rumble! And yes, I know what you're thinking. They do, in fact, blast. Oh, it's so good. What? They didn't care about Rumble Blast at all. Pokemon X and Y? Get out of here. Are you serious? Fine. Pokemon Alphabet Soup released for the 3DS on October 12th, 2013, taking place in the all-new Kalos region. It featured, you're not gonna believe it, a new story, new gym leaders to challenge, a new evil organization to take down, and 72 new Pokemon to catch and train. It's also notable for being the first mainline Pokemon game to be fully 3D. Hold up. A 3D mainline Pokemon game? This is so awesome! Oh, look at the opening cutscene! Oh my god! Look at the fireworks! Look at Lumiose City! Look at the X! Look at the Y! Look at the Pokemon! Oh boy! Hey, hold up a minute. Hey, they're looking kind of stiff, man. Are they supposed to look like that? Yes? Oh god. Okay, we'll get to how they look later. But when the trailers were first coming out, people were hyped, and they had good reason to be. Aside from the aforementioned leap into 3D for the first time in a mainline game, there was so much getting revealed for fans to get excited for. The Kanto starters were coming back, a new type in Fairy was being introduced, Mega Evolution was introduced, allowing for certain Pokemon to temporarily evolve even further and obtain a boost in power that rivals legendary Pokemon. And with Game Freak coming fresh off of some of the most ambitious Pokemon games in the franchise in Black and White 1 and 2, it seemed like all the stars were aligned for Pokemon XY to be the best Pokemon games ever made. Not even close. But before I begin to use this game as a metaphorical toilet, let's actually go over some positives. Firstly, a lot of the new Pokemon, pretty cool. Most are decent stat-wise, most have good designs, all the starters look sweet, there's a new evolution, one of the fossils is a straight-up T-Rex, there's a lot of good additions here. Another plus, the Pokédex. 3 words to describe it right here. Holy moly and Stromboli. There are 457 Pokemon that are catchable in this game. This means that no matter what gen you're a fan of, you're gonna find plenty of reps from your favorite gen. Some more than others, of course, but there's still plenty of options. To put it into perspective, before getting a single badge, you can catch around 25 Pokemon. Black and White 1 barely breaks 5. Another positive as well is the TM list. There's 100 TMs in the game, just like Gen 5, they're infinitely reusable, but unlike Gen 5, I feel the list is slightly better. You're given better moves at better points in the game, I feel. Not to say that Gen 5's TM lists were bad, just that X and Y's are slightly better. What else is good about this game? Music is good, visuals are nice, I like Professor Scykoh. Okay. Time to crap on this game. This game is too easy. It's baby's first Pokemon game. Now, if it was your first game, like mine actually, it's perfect. But if it's a repeat playthrough or you're just an experienced player, get ready for one of the most unengaging Pokemon games ever. Rival battles are a joke. Gym battles are a complete pushover, with some of their Pokemon not even having 4 moves. The Elite Four hardly poses a threat. It's a mess. And yes, I know every Pokemon game is inherently easy and that they all have some way to make everything a joke, like an overpowered starter or a certain Pokemon obtainable at the beginning of the game that also crushes everything, but some Pokemon games are still easier than others, and XY takes it too far. The experience share makes leveling up a breeze. The Kanto starters you get decently early on all come fresh with a Mega Stone. The Lucario you get comes fresh with the Mega Stone. It's one thing if you, the player, came across these parts of the games yourself, like with Nidoking and RBY. Yes, it's common knowledge now that you can catch a Nidoran male and fully evolve it before Misty, but the game never tells you that. There's no NPC that tells you you're not given a Moonstone or a Nidoran, you have to find them both yourself, which makes doing so much more rewarding. X and Y, however, you are handed these automatic wins, these Pokemon that break the game. There's no sense of reward to be had here. And you're most likely saying, easy, you don't have to do these things though. You don't have to use the Kanto starters, you don't have to use the Lucario. You can turn off the experience share, and you're absolutely right, you can do all of those things. If you're one of those players that likes to challenge themselves by only using one type, or only using objectively bad Pokemon, or even hardcore Nuzlocking the game, you can do all of those things, of course. You will then find that the game goes from very easy to easy. Some may say it's easily easy. Get it? Because no matter how you slice it, this game is easier than legit walking across a room. And even after that, some of you may still be saying, well, you can always just not evolve your Pokemon. You could just use a Metapod or a Weedle. You can do this. You can do that. And to that rebuttal, I say, dude, listen to yourself. Listen to how many limitations you're having to put on yourself here. That'd be like if I said, Super Mario 3D World is the hardest 3D Mario if you only played as Toad and made yourself small at the beginning of every level and waited for the timer to only have 100 seconds remaining, and if you die once, you have to start the whole game over again. Because that's totally how the developers intended you to play it. And all these limitations don't make the game itself challenging, it makes you a creative player. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is challenging because it requires the player to master the tight platforming and obstacles with a heavy moving character in Donkey Kong. Cuphead is challenging because it requires the player to master multiple different attack patterns that needs them to be quick in their reactions. Most Pokemon games, and especially XY, are not challenging because you decided to play them holding the system upside down with one eye closed and the other purposely infected with pink eye, all while you only use the regional rodent. Now, in some ways, the difficulty could be seen as a benefit to some. It means you can run pretty much any Pokemon you want, any move you want, go nuts, why not? And if you know what kind of player I am, for those who don't, I love a big Pokédex that allows for me to build a super unique team. You may think I love this game because of that, and to some extent, yes, but I also find it hard to appreciate that ability to run anything I want when no matter what, I can still win by putting forth next to no effort. It makes the charm of building a super unique team and seeing how well it fares against the region feel close to non-existent because it's Kalos. You're going to have an easy time. While, as I said, having plenty of variety is a good thing, there needs to be a balance with difficulty so that any team you decide to build is still fun to use. Let's use Black and White 2 for example, as it was the last Pokemon game in the series at this point. It's fun to use a team of Badmons because it makes a decently challenging game, one of the more harder ones in the mainline series, that extra bit more difficult. It's fun to use a team of overpowered Mons because the sense of reward of crushing the entire region under your boot is very much there, due to, as I said, it being one of the more difficult Pokemon games. And it's fun to use a team that's somewhere in the middle because you're getting the best of both worlds. In X and Y, no matter what kind of team you use, you will always destroy every measly trainer in your path, and therefore, there is no sense of reward because of it. Okay. I think I've talked about the difficulty long enough. You get the idea. Moving on. Remember a couple of minutes ago I said this? Hey, they're looking kinda stiff, man. Let's shift gears over to that, shall we? Now, if there's one thing that almost every mainline Pokemon game had, it was excellent sprite work. Even RBY sprites, despite being really bad, were still full of charm and creativity. X and Y's models, though... Oh boy. I have seen planks of wood with more fluidity. The walls in my bedroom have more character than these models, and they're painted beige. Almost every single Pokemon just sits there with the only idle movement from them looking like they're taking deep, slow breaths. Attack animations that looked like they tried to make them as generic as possible. Other various animations, such as the Pokemon jumping or turning, is simply done by just moving the model around while they remain in their same idle animations. It is open beta fan game levels of quality, and if you think I'm insulting people who make fan games, I'm not. I'm insulting the billion-dollar company here. Now, we can go on and on about how, yes, they're limited on time, they can't delay deadlines, so they have to cut corners to meet demands. Whatever. I'm judging what is given to me as a consumer, and what is given in XY is a stupidly easy, visually uninteresting experience. What else? I could talk about the story, but I'm not going to because this video is long enough as is. It's generic. Plain and simple. The rivals suck, the evil organization is lame, all the other characters are unmemorable. Going from Gen 5 to Gen 6 was such a drastic change in quality. Something clicked in the mind of Game Freak. Whether it was them responding to the criticism of Gen 5 with an at best average game in X and Y, or Game Freak realizing that they could just do whatever and put forth any kind of effort and it would still sell, something changed. Pokemon has always leaned more toward children when it comes to their demographic, but after Gen 6, they don't just lean, they jumped. Aside from Gen 7, which even still catered more towards kids with their obscenely long tutorials, Pokemon games were getting easier, lazier. They felt less like games and more like a quota that just needed to be filled by Game Freak. What were once these daunting journeys that required a relative amount of knowledge to get the best experience out of were now these less than average treks through a new world where everything that allowed you to succeed was handed to you on a silver platter. A series that once had expansive post-game content was now becoming riddled with tropes such as paid DLC, generic and soulless aftergames, or hardly anything at all. All of these negatives that I've stated are now taking the helm when it comes to the Pokemon franchise, and we have Gen 6 to thank for that, unfortunately.
Well, now I'm bummed out. I got nothing. So I guess I'm easy and I'll see you next time. Man, Pokemon sucks.